They were not business. The school was right.
Don can look at me every day. Oh, it doesn't. I'm the 10-year-old hanging around. There's a 10-year-old, so sad. Oh, here you are. I was looking at this whole or not.
Oh, okay.
When she was just, oh, it's 5:35, from in a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, moving on through everything. No proclamations, on to the consent agenda. Is there anything else we need to discuss, Brad?
Nothing else I need to discuss. So we did run the USD 415 homecoming parade route with the chief of police, Sarah. He had seen problems with it.
When is homecoming?
On the September 24th, 25th.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? No, Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Public comments, petitions, memorials, or old business, so we're gonna go right to new business. Item 1, MIH housing project update, presented by Dave Anderson and Mike Webb, who are on Zoom. Kind of.
Well, I'm here. I think Dave's should be on shortly. So if he's not,
It says that he's on, but yeah, here he comes.
No, I'm here.
okay.
Thank you.
He's unmuted, so if you want to go ahead, if you're going first, Mike, or where are we at?
Well, I think Dave was going to take the lead.
Oh,
and-
sure.
There you are. You there, Dave? Okay. You were
Yeah,
muted.
can
So
you
I'm gonna
hear me?
mute myself. Okay.
Can everyone hear me?
No, not very well.
No. Okay. How about now?
There we go.
Yes.
I just turned it up a little. Thank you for having us on with up front in your meeting. So we'll make it kind of quick. after the school board meeting, I decided that perhaps I've made a mistake in not communicating enough with the county and the school district. And Mike and I had a nice little drive back, so we kind of came up with a plan that it would include Ian, Brian, and Richard, each from the differing boards and commissions. And quite frankly, the reason was that they have been the most vocal. Richard has called me several times before the school board meeting and expressed some serious reservations, I think would be a mild way to say it, on the RHID. So I think now that where we are, the three gentlemen have agreed. If you at the commission would agree to Brian, I don't know that you have to actually have a formal vote. And then I will proceed to ask the superintendent and the president of the board for permission to have Ian, and then the chairman, Heinen, of the county to have Richard. And then I'll read this. I think you have this information already. I sat down and said, here's the things that I heard, and we'll kind of be working on those. There'll be no decisions made. The objective is to come up with several solutions that mitigate some of these things that were brought up, mainly by Ian. They probably have been around, but again, I didn't do a good enough job in communicating or listening or all of that. That said, these three and I have talked. Their attitude that I have witnessed has been one of, they want to try to get this across the line. They know that the community needs housing, and it needs that for economic development purposes. There's honesty in that there's some real challenges in how to get that done. Mike and I are willing to stick into it, except for one exception. We probably overextended ourselves in trying to solve the problem that we saw with the community back, I think, in April, where we said we'd take on the RHID. And with the current temperature, is the way to say it, we no longer want to do that. So it's really the city's obligation, and we're here to help mitigate all of those things that have been brought up. And with that, I just want to, I'm looking at my computer here. So there are 5 things that I identified, and that is, one, to reduce the term of the RHID to much less than 25 years. That seemed to be a giant sticking point, a lot of contention to that. And some of that would be by reducing or eliminating the capitalized interest that we had. That can only be done by the reduction of the term. If there was a gap between the projected revenue from property tax and the debt service that was required, again, a function somewhat of capitalized interest and overall cost, we would look for areas to reduce that gap. The fourth one was a discussion of, and it has been on the table, about whether the city has the wherewithal, in any case, the resources to complete the water and sewer work, and then to verify the infrastructure scope, which is again if we included a water and sewer, and guarantee that work by bonds and third-party inspections. The bonds and third-party inspections were not part of the engineer's estimate, so we didn't have those in our cost. So that one's driving cost up while we're trying to drive cost down. And there has been no decisions, a lot of conversations, even to the point of, if we did not use this site, could we still accomplish what the MIH has given us? And that would be some alternate sites that perhaps are available, like infill. Mike has commented to me on that he's not too certain that they would allow that. I've called Deanna Ingstrom, and I emailed her, and she hasn't yet emailed me back. So that's kind of a summary. I don't know, Mike, if you had anything else, or if not, I'd like to hear the commission if you have any questions.
I don't have anything additional. You summarized it.
Was there any, yeah.
Actually, Commissioner Thompson, I have a question. Our city administrator was not in this meeting that you held?
No, I initialized the call to see if they would be interested in doing this, Commissioner. And then I sent Brad everything that we kind of discussed. I would, and I'm open to any kind of information sharing you want. There's nothing really secret here. The problem I think we have encountered is information coming out in not in a form that the community could grasp a hold of and have answers directly to. We were developing things, and we'd send them to Brad, and then I just think it's better to have it come uniformly. But I'm willing to, and anytime whatever you guys would like to see, I'd like to send it to all three of those agencies, yours, the counties, and the school board. But I'll just I guess I'm going to be firm. We don't want to do this again. And so I'm running the show. I guess I'm going to say that. And we will then come with items that we think are solutions, not one, several. And then kind of, I guess the hope is that we start to limit or eliminate the RHID if that's entirely possible. I'm not sure. But Brad was not attending those meetings.
That's very disappointing, actually. As much involvement as he has had in this process, I'm very disappointed he wasn't involved in this meeting. And if you have any
Okay.
questions, he should be there.
Okay.
I would second that. And the RHID is dead anyway, isn't it? Unless there's some hidden trick, I don't know. I mean, the county voted it down, even though they had time on the table. They didn't have to vote that day, but they did. So RHID is a moot point. Even if the city took it over, why would we think it would pass now when it didn't a week ago?
Yeah, I don't, I didn't attend that meeting, Mayor.
Nobody did.
Yeah, I think there was we, I think that would be something that I'd encourage both your commission and the others, have their attorneys discuss it. Our understanding is that the plan that we submitted, that the city submitted, that we helped with, was deemed harmful. The idea is we're coming back with another plan, and that would allow another opportunity, another reset of the clock. And so that's what we're working off of. And we could be entirely wrong. I haven't had I don't think there's any reason for us to have a legal opinion on that.
From my understanding is we can do another RHID, we just have to do another ordinance and then have the 30-day requirement for them to refile it. So basically, either of those meetings are, it doesn't really matter, because we would start over from where we're at now regardless. So we just need to do a whole nother ordinance for the RHID with a plan to boot, and then pass it, and then have 30 days to have the school and the county do the exact same thing they did, and then it could still go through.
Did the school ever actually understand that the moment your project was built, they were still going to receive 20 mil per student from the very beginning? They were going to receive those taxes from the beginning,
That's not
right off the.
That goes to the state.
Goes to the
the
state
20 mil.
returns, and they take that 20 mil and goes straight to the school.
No, not back to, it goes throughout the whole state. That 20 mil is distributed back through the whole state.
Per student.
Yeah, but I mean, for the whole state though, not directly back to our district. So the state's making money, but not necessarily our district.
Can you clarify that, Dave?
Again, I would have to ask someone else on that opinion. Yeah, so I can find out for sure if you'd like,
Well, I think
but I
that's.
don't know. Yeah, don't know the answer right now.
I do believe that to be,
It's the way it works.
I do believe what was just said to be correct. That's how that's doing. The 20 mils goes into a fund, mutual fund, and that's distributed per student throughout whatever your student population is distributed per student.
In the moment that it's built, correct?
Right, yes.
Well, there is, just so you got it's clear, there is a slight delay. It's not until we pay the first tax, after the assessed value, depending on budget cycle, but pretty much right after it's built. Yes.
So our school district would start receiving taxes when it is built. Am I just not getting this?
They wouldn't get their portion of, and it's almost another 20 mils. So the school sets 20 mils. Or they have a set 20 mils that the state takes regardless. And then they set their tax above that, which is, don't quote me, I think it's like 38 or 40 mils. And so they're only able to take the 18 mils. That's what actually goes to our district, and that's the mills that they're actually setting every time they do a budget. So it is totally different than the way we do it.
Okay.
So yeah, it is a little bit more, and that a little bit more confusing, but yeah, that's the way it happens, basically.
Okay.
Well, and I think Commissioner Tollefson, that you're on. For one, you're in the minutia, which is fine. But I think that's what's really been, if I was going to make an opinion, it's that the community has no real grasp of the details. And in fact, I can't even answer the question to you. That's why I raised the conversation. Do you want to use this as an economic tool or not? And perhaps the county does not. Some of the discussions I've had with Commissioner with Richard is Cesario is there's a real opposition to this in part of your county. So I don't know, but just in perhaps as a matter of just opinion. So that being said, this group, myself included, I just read the thing. I think we have to find a way to solve it with. If it's RHID, I have been pretty assured, I sense it too, 25 years isn't going to fly at all. It's already been said no. So if you come back with a plan that's similar to that, you're kind of wasting your time. We are. But so there'll be a real effort to, if it is an RHID, what is that scope and how long is it? How can we bring it down? So I'm not here to not share, but I don't want to dive too much in the details so that they get cut out from under a conversation. But for instance, one conversation was, what if you built all 8 lots? Well, only 5 are in the MIH, which means we would build them, which brings in more taxes that drive automatically. The math goes down from 25 years. I don't know what that actually is. But that at least heads towards the problem. Our question as a developer is, can we rent those at more of a market rate without any assistance? Don't know that answer yet. So that's one. You run those numbers down to ground zero and see if you're willing to do that. Another conversation is, well, there is a a neighborhood revitalization act, which is like a tax abatement, although it's a rebate. What if you simply started to work in that direction and built all six? Well, then all your taxes go directly to the taxing entities, uh, short of the assessment you give, and that's only 10 years. So there's a lot of ways to cut it, but I think the focus is on this some type of debt for infrastructure and its length of time. That seems to be the big problem here, or at least in this development location.
Well, I will say I have a little bit of frustration with the county when two of the three members don't even, they live in South Brown, not in the city of Hiawatha, so that hurts a little when we're not able to build housing. The other thing that when you're working on this, because I have heard the 25-year, that's too long. I just want to clarify that Aztec Court, Knockdall's place, was a 20-year TIF district. So we're not too far off of that. I mean, if you do an open records request, you're gonna see, in fact, it was quite humorous. There's a proposal that sounds remarkably like what we're trying to say now. So, I mean, the city knew, 30 years ago, we needed something like this. So when you guys are hashing things out with our city administrator there as well, just keep that in mind. This has been done before, just 5 years difference.
Okay.
Tom, you got anything? Brian, anything else? Dave?
Well, I was just trying to think outside the box, and this is kind of complicated, but since comments were made about the RHID being too long, 25 years is too long, you could somehow figure out a 10 or 15-year RHID that might fly, but then you still got to come up with a plan for what's left over on how to pay for that. So I'm not, I don't know what the answer is on that, but I think the city can do the city and sewer work. We've already decided that. We've got a plan on how to pay for that. So I don't see that being a problem.
We have discussed that several times, and boys came back to that we're able to do that, to do the sewer and water. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, I don't, Commissioner and Mayor, I don't want to, I'm an optimistic person and to begin with, you've all met me quite a bit, but this is a serious uphill climb. Since if we can't come up with another plan, as Mayor, you said, this is a dead deal. So we have a lot of work and we don't have much time. That was one other thing. And I want to try to clear the air a little bit. Sorry, Commissioner Tolson. We'll include Brad for sure. But I had my conversations were to align these guys with the correct information. I'm not a social media guy, and they all have heard a lot of stuff. And my very first email back to them was to show them the numbers. Ian, is his last name Schultz? Do I say that right? Is that
Sheets.
Sheets?
Sheet.
Sheet. Okay. So he kept talking. We had a conversation in public about the dollar amount, and I kept saying something like 700,000, and he was at less than 3. And so again, my fault for the needle was moving from the April meeting in that scope, and primarily, and I've sent all this out, I believe, to you, Brad, as well. And I hope all of you have it. If not, I'll just make sure you have it. But things like mass grading and the mobilization and the surveying and all of the ancillary items in the engineer's scope that were necessary for the road, I made a serious mistake. I'll admit it, and I caused a lot of damage that way by saying, we said, well, will you take care of the road? Well, that's items 13 through 19, some number, and you can't build a road when it's on a hill and you're going through straight through the hill on a section. So it had to be all this mass grading. And I guess I made assumptions and didn't share them with anybody. But that was my first conversation with all of them, so that we were all talking and singing off the same sheet of music. And that helped clear the air quite a bit. But again, that was my fault for not reaching out to the school board. I just didn't do that. I wasn't thinking of doing that.
So when's the next meeting plan?
Hold on. It is, I think, Wednesday. I gotta
It's Wednesday at 9 o'clock.
Wednesday. Yes. Yep.
Now, have you talked to the superintendent to see if she's on board with that, or?
I have not, Mayor. I wanted to wait to see if you guys had any real strong objections to my request. And that now I will reach out to her and the board president and the chairman of the county commission, asking permission to have these guys, us, work in a working group. It's a working group. There'll be no decisions made. And then me and Mike as developers will bring forward a plan. And again, I think it's a good idea in this. There's a lot of going on in your community in a communication level, and we don't want to go in the past. They agreed that that's no longer on the table. We're not talking about it. We're going forward. If we can have a solution, I'd like to have several, bring it to you guys, because it is a city project. And then you, with our assistance, pick one over the other. Hopefully, we come up with something like that. The deadline that we are up against is the tax credits. And the tax credits you must spend $320,000 before the end of the year. Or we had the state said we could escrow that amount. And Mike and I are not going to escrow $320,000 of our money and not have a project approved through all the channels. And so that probably, and we haven't even actually started nailing down investors. No one is ready to invest in an environment where there's not a clear path forward. So we probably have 2 to 3 weeks under which we need to get approval and try to hit all the meetings schedules, or we risk not having the tax credits, and that'll kill the deal. I have spoken to Michaela as well. So has Mike.
And does Heffa need to be involved in all? Because, ultimately this was their project. We were just the vehicle it had to go through.
I think
Right.
the important thing is that this is just 3 people talking. We're not having meetings, we're not making decisions. We don't need this, we don't need to make this a bigger deal than what it is. It's literally us just in a room talking about if we can make something, propose an idea that maybe someone would like moving forward. And I think the biggest thing is that we're on such a timeline that we can't make it a bigger deal than what it is, because if there's nothing that comes out of it, the project's done anyways, and the decision's already been made. So we're just trying to come up with 3 or 4 people in a room and come up with an idea that maybe is palatable for the public to take a look at. That's it.
I think it's a real shame that so much misinformation is out there in the public. Incredible amount of assumptions that aren't backed up by truth, which has led us to this particular situation. We need this housing. constantly, people are saying, we need businesses, we need this, we need that. People have to have a place to live. We have 4 low-income housing projects in Hiawatha, 2 of which I have managed. Multiple people have applied. They make too much money. There's no place for them to move to. I really want to see this project go through, so I hope that somehow you folks can get together and come up with an idea that'll work for our community, for the county commission, for the school board, and we can move forward. So I appreciate you continuing to put forward and try to stay positive about this.
Well, thanks for the support. We'll need a few prayers with it. I just noticed too, Mike's got a picture of some house behind him. I didn't want to turn on my face because I'm in a condo down in Florida trying to put it together for my daughter, and it's a wreck. So I'm not hiding my face. I just didn't want you to see what's behind me.
I just picked a background and thought a house was appropriate for the evening. So don't read anything into that. It's just a nice picture. So.
Out on the beach somewhere, I just won't admit it.
I am on a beach, Commissioner. That is true. I'm looking at it when I turn my face, but no.
Just to echo what Laura just said, I talked with the CEO of the hospital a couple months back. He told me he was trying to recruit a new provider for Hiawatha's hospital. And they turned him down because they couldn't find a place to live that was to their liking. So it's a definite problem with some of our larger businesses. And they try to bring people to town, and there's no place to live. They're not very successful.
Yeah, Commissioner, I really do. And looking back, I think if we all look back just slightly, the cost of, because the MIH, even though it's a wonderful grant. I mean, this is how it gets done. But their restriction on the low end of the rent started to cost, you couldn't build streets. So I believe Mike and Brad, and then the RHID is a terrific tool, but the 25 years just got ground into people's gears, and that wasn't going to happen. So I think that what we're really focused on trying to do is perhaps another site or figure out how to really limit that, which will take it's going to be a gymnastics of finances, honestly. And so that's the nut. If we can get it back down, I don't know. I can't speak for the county. I don't quite understand, honestly, the same mayor. But if we have an RHID, they are required to say nothing, as well as the school board, and that, I think, might be our challenge. So we're going to hope for the best, try to get it down in that 10, 15-year range, I'm going to say, because a tax abatement's worth 10 years, and that's available. So just kind of targeting that time, and then really just going in front of them if we do come up with an RHID before any kind of deadline is established, and say, are you gonna go for this or not? Because we're all wasting our time if you guys are not. Absolutely no way that an RHID in any shape or form. And I'll just ask them. I'll go to a commission meeting and ask them. And if I can't get nods yes, then we might as well go do something different.
So Dave, if I just might add, I think you've done a great job outlining everything. I think at the end of the day, there's going to be the word stack gets used, but I mean, there has to be multiple resources invested into the project, right? Private resources, Dave and I's resources, city resources, whatever those are, to get to the project in whatever that mix looks like, I think is the critical piece. And is there a mix that will work for everybody that's acceptable? I mean, that's I think that's really the goal that's trying to be achieved here, is how can we come up with a mix to build these units, which includes infrastructure, et cetera. And how do we, what's that mix look like at the end of the day? So hopefully we can find that solution. I think all of y'all know I've been pretty vested in this as well, trying to find solutions. And, we went through several uh, times of going for the grant, and then was able to tag onto that the tax credits, which from this whole deal, that was the part I had to kind of bring into it as well. So I think everybody's been working hard on it, and just how can we find the right mix and solution to get there? Because I don't think there's any doubt that there's a demand and interest in building this housing, this moderate income housing. It seems to be plenty of support. And I know we've gotten contact in the city, the Economic Development Foundation, of how do we get on the list, or how do we get there? I think, as the commissioner mentioned, there's people that are outside the low income, but they fall right into this median income, and they may be just slightly over, and potentially this could be a housing option. So I'm looking forward to trying to continue to find a solution here, and I know Dave is as well, but I just wanted to throw that 2 cents out there.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you spending your time. Commissioners, anything else? Brad, anything?
Nothing bad.
Thank you.
And I'm reaching out to Ian, set up the meeting, and I'm adding Brad and Michael to it.
Well, I'll look forward to seeing the notes after the meeting.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item 2, LKM voting delegates.
So the League of Kansas Municipalities Conference is October 8th through 10th in Wichita. And every year we have the opportunity to have a few delegates participate in the kind of the legislative process for the Kansas League of Municipalities. I had reached out to, I know I've done it in the past. I think Don's done it in the past here. I know that Commissioner Middendorf has done it in the past. I know we have a few more commissioners going this year, which are Commissioner Tolson and Commissioner Martin. I thought it'd be a great opportunity for them to get involved with this process, kind of see what the league does on a day-to-day basis. They're able to attend the meetings where they discuss the policy going forward for the upcoming year. And, and also have a chance to vote on the appointments to the board. And so it's just a great opportunity for them to get involved, to see how the league works, even as a deeper involvement. I thought it was a good opportunity for them to do that. I reached out to both of them since they're going to the conference and asked if they want to be involved, if they'll agree to do it. And so my recommended action here is to appoint Tom Martin and Laura Tolson as voting delegates for the city of Hiawatha for the Kansas League of Municipalities Conference. The name Brad Scott and Don Boyle as alternates.
I'll make a motion, just what you just said. Second, appoint Tom Martin and Laura Tolson as voting delegates for the city of Hiawatha, the Kansas League of Municipalities Conference, and then Brad Scott and Don Boyle for alternate.
Okay, so I move the second to appoint Tom and Laura. Is there any comments from the public? Any comments from the commissioners?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Now I would like to make a motion to go into the 2027 budget hearing portion of the meeting.
Second.
Then moving second to go into the 2027 budget hearing portion. Any comments? Any commissioners? On?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay, so now that we're in the budget hearing portion, first of all, do we have any comments from the public? Small public. No, Brad, show's yours.
Okay, so the proposed 2027 budget, we discussed this on August 10th. And we didn't really have any recommendations for changes at that time. The revenue neutral rate for this year is 34.472 mils. This represents 12.551 mils from the general fund, 7.754 for the employee benefits, 7.604 from the library, the 6.563 from the library, and the 7.754 from Parks and Rec, employee benefits is 7.604. And so this 2027 budget does represent a revenue neutral rate for 2027, which means that although property valuations did increase, and they have increased, a great deal, especially in the past, let's say, since 2019, I believe they've gone up 50%, if I'm not mistaken. But this does, we will be, this will be a revenue neutral rate as set by the state of Kansas. Is there any questions? Any questions from the commission? Do we have any questions?
I'll make a motion to adopt the 2027 budget as presented.
Second.
Been moved in second to adopt the 2027 budget as presented. Any further discussion? None.
All fair?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. You read them, right? Is there another motion? Number 4.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2155 appropriating the amount set up in each fund in the budget for the calendar year of 2027.
Second.
Been moved in second to adopt ordinance number 2155. Any further discussion? Not done.
All fair?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. And I will now make a motion to adjourn the 2027 budget hearing portion and return to regular city commission meeting. Second,
Second.
moving to second to adjourn the 2027 budget hearing. Any further discussion? Not done.
All fair?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Okay, moving on to communications, both judges report and fire runs. I don't. Do we have any other thing to add to that? Governing body comments, I have none. Dave?
I like to thank Brad and the office staff for all the work they put in on the budget. A lot of work, we got it.
It was all right.
So that's good. So now, I don't know, I've been more years we can do that, but it is what it is.
School works out the same thing. Tom?
Yes, thank you guys for all that you do.
Brian?
I've got nothing.
Laura?
I definitely want to thank you for all the work that you put into this budget. It's tremendous amount of work to go revenue neutral. And I really appreciate your time, effort, something.
I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0.